Yeah.
Go.
Yep. And the glue that Pete's using is just regular Elmo's carpenter's glue. I've been using this stuff since day one. Everybody who is not familiar with guitar making or bass making, they always say, well, you must use a special kind of a glue to do all that stuff. I said, well, I've been using Elmer's glue since day one. It works, and for a while I used a Franklin Tight Bond. I use that once in a while still, but Elmer's works, and it's readily available. And Pete's just working the glue into the wood. That's I found out a long time ago. If you kind of push the glue into the pores of the wood, and you always keep a bucket or a tub of hot water around with a sponge. I learned that from Jimmy D'Acquisto, by the way. Jimmy said, well, you know, anytime you're using that kind of glue, always keep some a sponge and hot water around. You know, I probably would have figured it out myself, but the fact that Jimmy D'Acquisto said do it made it a real deal. I've said this before, but for those of you people who don't know who Jimmy D'Acquisto or John D'Angelico, you really should investigate that, because they were really great, great guitar makers. And you don't want to use too much glue, and you don't want to use too little. You don't want to make a weak joint, but you don't want to overload it either. And Pete's, like I said, he's just taking that damp sponge and wiping the excess glue off, so he gets a nice thin, gluing surface there. And we're using the old nut that was originally with it to kind of keep it from moving around up there. Hey. And you put the pins in with a hammer, cut them off, and take a file and even them out a little bit. And Pete's just going to put a little bit of masking tape on to keep it from sliding around. It's pretty secure. When we first started looking at this, we thought we were going to have to put some blocks along the side, and we thought about all kinds of things, but the reality is those two pins at the 12th fret and the nut and a little bit of masking tape should keep it pretty secure. Well, that is a beautiful piece of wood, isn't it? You just don't see that anymore. Yeah, maybe Richie has some back home, I know. A lot of, tell you the truth, a lot of the stuff I got, that kind of curly maple, I got from him way back, you know. That might even be something that I got from him. There's a friend of mine back in Pennsylvania has a big wood mill back there. I can't get Coca-Cola from him or any kind of ebony or anything like that. But he has a lot of walnut and poplar and maple and things like that. And I'm going to be going home in July back to Pennsylvania. And I'm going to stop and see Richie. He says he has some curly cherry for me. Maybe he has some curly maple too. We'll see. All set, Pete?
Yeah, we're all set.
We should go over there. Be careful, Joe. Just, I can turn this around a little bit.
We gotta put this stuff in the bag too.
Huh?
We gotta put that stuff in the bag too, so should we stop this real quick and put that stuff
Oh
in?
yeah, okay.